Do you have crippling debt that you are trying to currently get out of? Don't worry. Me too. So today, let's learn how to get out of it together. I am not your typical finance YouTuber. $6 million, a mansion, 5 Lamborghinis. I got all of that times 0 and then minus it by $2,000. That is my net worth. So just think of me as your relatable idiot that is also trying to learn. So today, let's learn how to get out of debt together. And not just getting out of debt, we're also going to learn how to thrive from there and learn about what to do once we get out of debt. And then learn how to set us both up for future success. Let's go. First thing first, should you pay off your debt? Or should you invest instead? Now this is a good question. It depends. But most situations, ideally, you should pay off your debt. Why? Now, if you invest, you would know that the most ideal sustainable return is like 10%. Compare that to your credit card debt. Your interest rate for your credit card debt is usually 12%, 15%, 20%, 25%, 5 billion%. Pay it off. You only invest if your debt either has low interest or 0 interest. If not, step number 1. First thing first, you're gonna call up your bank and you're gonna try to negotiate and try to lower your interest rate. And then an example of this would be the American Express Financial Relief Program. So just make your story really sad and then try to emphasize your debt. Try to make it as sad as possible, just like a homeless guy. If that doesn't work, time for step number 2. Increase your credit limit, just so that you can save your credit score, at least a little bit of it. That is the sole purpose. It is not for more spending. No, 30. It is so that your credit score can go up from 500 to at least 501. Now this step is like a little bit dangerous. I just realized that because you might be tempted to spend more. So just scrap it and let's move on to the next step. Move your current credit card debt or any debt into a 0% interest or a 0% APR credit card. Now this is usually temporarily because these offers are like crazy good. So it's usually like a year or so, but that's okay because you got it whole year, easy. And then during that whole year, you can work on paying off your debt and you won't be charged any APR or interest payment, which is really good. If you would like to during this period, you could work and then invest and then you make extra money off of that investment. And then by the end of the year or like by the end of the promotional period of the 0% APR credit card, you could take out the investment and then use that to pay down the debt. Just so that you won't pay any APR after the promotion is over. Now I just thought of this plan just now and that proves my genius, okay? And with that being said, let's move on to the next step before I suck my own dick. Now during this 0% interest period, there's 2 debt payment strategy that you can use to pay off your debt. Debt strat number 1. Debt avalanche. Now for this method, you're gonna be paying off the debt with the highest interest. What that basically means is no matter how much money you owe, what matters is how much interest you're paying for that debt. So let's say that you owe a small loan of like $100 and your interest is 50%. You're paying that off immediately, okay? Or you can use this other debt payment method. It is called the debt snowball method. So what a strategy here is to basically attack the debt that is the smallest, just so that you can like start paying off your debt and like work towards a better future. Now what this basically is that so before you started working on your debt, you were addicted to getting yourself into debt. So what this method basically does is that it rewards you for paying off a small debt so that you can start slow and then you build up the momentum. Now this method works if you're a big no, I'm just kidding. Progress is progress, no matter how little. Now ideally, my personal recommendation is to start with the debt snowball method, just so that you can reward yourself afterwards for paying off a debt. And then after you finish the debt snowball, you can then move onto the debt avalanche and then you attack the debt with the highest interest, just so that you can work for a much better future. And then after that, you are golden to attack the rest of the debt. and then you will get rid of all of it. And then boom, that is how you beat debt, and you beat poverty, and then you beat yourself, and you conquer yourself, and you build a better future. A future where you can retire, and a future where you can give your kids what they want and what they need. Additionally, during this time of battle, during this time of fighting the debt, live frugally. What living frugally means, for those of you who are financially illiterate, is that you live based on what you need, and that is it. So first step to this phenomenon is determining your needs. After you determine your needs, try to reduce your needs if possible. If not, then you put it on a list and you only pay that monthly. And then you use the rest of your income towards attacking the debt, whether it be the debt that is from the snowball method or the avalanche method. It doesn't matter. Attack it with every single soldiers that you got. And during this time, there won't be any wants, okay? That means that there's no going out, no buying food, no going to Disneyland, no buying gifts. You're too broke for that. And if you go out, try to ask people to pay for you. And if your friends are fake, or like you're too proud of yourself, or like people to say no because they don't owe you anything, well, then just don't go out. You want a better future? Then work for it. Don't go out. And then build a budget. List out your needs, remove everything else, and replace that with extra money to pay off your debt. And that is gonna be your budget. Now this is a little bit extreme, but if your debt is that bad, you have to do that. But if your debt is like a couple thousand, or like manageable, like you could finish it off by like 6 months, then you could go out a little bit. But remember how you got into the debt in the first place, and remind yourself and think about how that potentially could happen again if you don't take actions and like change up your whole life. Because this is also about mentality. If you don't care about it, it will come back. The debt will come back, and it might come back bigger. So it's not just about the debt. It doesn't matter if it's little. It's about your mentality and your money literacy and how much you care about your financial future. Keep that in mind. And then by the end of the promotional period, by the end of the 0% interest or the 0% APR period, and you still haven't finished paying off your debt, that's okay. Make a new bank account with 0% interest, and then move your debt into that, and then keep working on it. It's okay. And then you keep repeating the process until your debt is gone. You will win. Don't worry. I believe in you. And now, congratulations, boys. You did it. You have finally obliterated that debt out of the water. It's gone. You took that bitch out into the garden, and you made them look at the flowers, and then you were like, boom. Woo! Nicely done, my soldiers. And now here comes the next step. Work on your emergency fund. Now what this is that it is basically the fund that could potentially fund you for the next 12 months if you were to lose your jobs. And having a fund like this is fundamental. You need one, just so that you won't get into more debt. If during a time of crisis you open up a bank account or a new credit card just to have a bit more money to spend, that's how you know you're in deep shit. Anyways, I'll see you next year. It's gonna be a great year for the channel. That's about it.